I've been fortunate to have many close friendships in my life. In fact, there are 10 or more of you who have been like family to me. You know who you are. I know that we have somewhat differing worldviews, and that's always been necessary. We've challenged each other all along. That is how we grew and developed into what we are today. I'm aware that we have very different priorities. Some of us have serious careers and some have families. But even though we only talk once or twice a year, sometimes even less, I want you to know that I still think about you guys almost every day. Not because I'm lonely or desperate, mourning the old times. My life today is full of new and developing close friendships. But I think about you because I adore you all in a baffling, sentimental fashion, which I couldn't explain if I tried. The reason I wanted to talk to you broadly in a video like this is because I have an urgent message, a breakthrough of sorts, which I've stumbled across a few years ago now. I've had a bit of trouble explaining this to people. In fact, I tend to get a lot of blank stares, but since you guys have always been so good at talking to me, often for hours into the night, I figure you've got a pretty good chance of being receptive to what I'm saying. Okay, the thing I've learned is that my quality of life is determined by my habits of thinking and focus, or where I pay attention. There are a million ways to say it, but perhaps most concisely, I will become what I think about. This is why my personality subtly changed as I fell into so many different trends and music scenes over the years. I had built my house on the shifting sands of culture. But the trend always changed and left me confused, trying to predict what might happen next, what might be cool or interesting. It's the same for music as technology or finance. We can't predict the future, so we're thrust into anxiety, uncertainty, and sometimes inadequacy. It's a hamster wheel of sorts. I thought deeply about what this means. Marketers and advertisers are clearly aware of the power here. Every message I see becomes part of my norm, the environment of which I am a product. So why didn't I send myself messages that would help me build my reputational skills in a more useful way? Why didn't I begin to understand the importance of context, information, and habit until I was 34 years old? Well, very long story short, when I was at my lowest a couple of years ago, I made a big personal sacrifice that resulted in this revelation-like comprehension. I become what I think about. I'm a product of my environment. I reap what I sow. I am what I eat. I can build my thinking with encyclopedias, religious texts, Stephen King novels, or anything in between. The comedies we watched gave us new inside jokes to laugh at together. You guys remember? The horror movies unlocked new fears. Our thinking and our quality of life can be affected drastically with even one piece of literature or video. Our entire lives can be changed by a video game or a song. Remember? You guys know me. You saw it happen. I can build myself into an atheist or I can reinforce a faith. Athletes become professional by repeating motions and exercising optimal modes of thinking and repetition. I started to understand that with thinking, anything was possible. Hoping to earn decent money for once in my life, I began pouring hours each day into financial literacy. I was spending a significant amount of time learning about money and how to be effective with it. But something cried out from within and demanded that I put my attention elsewhere, and I'm glad I did. This was about 2.5 years ago now. I want you to know that I pointed this determined energy and this understanding toward the most substantial things I could think of. I put the lens on religion and 12-step recovery. I've learned a lot and tried to summarize what's most relevant and important with this YouTube channel, but long story short, the pieces all fit together. I won't dwell on religion for more than a moment here because I know it can be off-putting and we have other important things to talk about, but love and sacrifice are the values which make civilized life possible, and I do think those values are perfectly articulated by the cross. This is why psychologically, my selfishness always made me sick, but it felt so good and satisfying to do the right thing. I won't dwell on that part of things anymore for now. It can be food for thought. But it made sense for us to talk about the importance of carefully consuming information before discussing the ways it's changing. I've paid quite a bit of attention to AI and what people are saying about it. I've been listening to the experts, and even if not catastrophic, things are going to change profoundly, and we cannot afford to live in denial a minute longer. I don't know a ton about AI, but I do know about the sowing and reaping maneuver and how societies are shaped by conduct, habit, and information. I know how societies are shaped by truth and eroded by lies. Artificial content is expanding fast, and that means artificial context, fantasy, and loss of truth. While many are busy discussing doomsday scenarios and job displacement, I'm trying to discuss the urgency and the importance of better habit formation. The videos being generated now are simply irresistible to young people, but fill their minds with inaccurate and increasingly preposterous representations of reality. When our minds are full of fantasy, it becomes difficult and uncomfortable to live in the real world. Adults become depressed and reclusive. Children become emotionally volatile and often inconsolable. This is an understandable response. Life doesn't follow the same rules as our fantasy, so we become disappointed by reality itself, disappointed by truth. This is to be disoriented, to be lost. The solution is to build our thinking on substance. Please believe me. The Sermon on the Mount discusses this in depth. Whether or not you believe in God, it checks out psychologically. If you're not sure what I mean by any of this, or you want to talk about it, please reach out to me. We're entering a new era, and we need to stick together. I thought it was all nonsense. I didn't believe it mattered. But in a pinch, I made the right decision, and gradually I was stunned to discover that all the pieces do fit. Substance is ours for the choosing. Because I am what I eat, I am a product of my environment, and birds of a feather do indeed flock together. Concerning my friendships with all of you, we are like minds. We are duty-filled. I wouldn't say all this if I didn't feel a profound urgency. There is a war on reality itself. It's not political or personal. It's a matter of survival. Courage and humility are essential. The new technology is unfathomably persuasive and cunning. People will be using it to gain competitive advantage over one another in ways that will totally reshape our society. Talent and intelligence are quickly being redefined. We will be manipulated and conditioned by new and unpredictable norms. I humbly suggest that we curate our thinking very carefully going forward, guarding ourselves and our families from the coming onslaught of lies, as well as dangerous cotton candy content. Lastly, I've learned that I cannot control any outcome. That nagging old desperation to fix everything myself has burdened me for too long. I humbly surrender that pain. While I do believe that most substantial and lasting solutions are made habit by carefully choosing systems of conduct, your decisions are your own, and I want you to know that you are admired, respected, and loved, truly. Let's talk soon.